In the algebra 2 class, we were talking about the laws of indices and things like that, and talked a little bit about that in geometry. Now, there's a question from chapter 8 that talks about, it's kind of this expression that has a lot of x and y's and so on, but it helps us to learn how to use all of the laws, or a lot of the laws. So let me write the question down. X, y squared divided by x to the 0, and then x to the minus 3, and then there's a bracket here, and then x, y to minus 2 divided by x, and then y squared power 0, and then minus 3y to the negative 2 here over x to the 4th. This is what we've been given to work with, okay? This is like number 3. Now, you look at this problem, what you need to realize is that a lot of things could leave right away. But before you get there, let's quickly deal with the brackets, this small bracket in here, and then we'll deal with the bracket as a whole. So let's go step by step. We're not going to rush into anything. X, y squared divided by x to the 0, according to one of the laws of indices, anything to the 0 is 1. And so this becomes a 1 times x to the negative 3. Okay, that's the first thing we've done. Inside the bracket, x, y to the negative 2 divided by x. And then one of the laws of indices says when you have something in a bracket, the exponent outside the bracket will multiply the exponent of the one in the bracket, or all the things in the bracket. So for example, x, y, z. So x squared yz is the same thing as x to the 6th, y to the 3rd, z to the 3rd. That's one of the laws. It allows us to essentially put this 3 in and multiply it by all the exponents of the things inside. And that's what we do there. And that's the same principle we're going to follow here. This becomes x, y to 0, because 2 times 0 is 0. And then minus 3y to the negative 2 divided by x to the 4th. Now, what you need to realize is that x to the negative 3, we're going to leave it the way it is for now, but we're going to bring it up so that it now is subtracted from x to the first power. One of the laws of indices allows us to bring up exponents when things have the same base. What do I mean by that? Let's look on the right side here for a second. X to the 4th power divided by x to the 6th power is the same thing as x to the 4th minus 6, which is the same thing as x to the negative 2, which is the same thing as 1 over x squared. So here we see another law in action. But let's quickly use this principle to solve this part. This is the same thing as x to the 1st power, this one right here. And now this negative 3 is coming to the top. So it's minus, and then that minus 3. And then y squared stays the same. On the bottom, all we have is 1, because x to the 0 became 1. So that's pretty much, that's gone. We don't need that right now. And then when we open our bracket, x, y to the negative 2. Now this y to the 0 becomes a 1. But that y to negative 2 can come to the bottom, while this x can go to the top. So x to the 1 minus 1, because this is x to the 1, as we know. We don't put the 1 there, but you know that that's 1, 1. So that comes up, and that's 1 minus 1. And then the y goes to the bottom as y squared, while this y0 is just a 1. So this is now x to the 0, but we'll take note of that in our next line. Over here, it becomes 3 divided by y squared x to the 4th power. So that's what we have for now. If we continue, it becomes x to the 4th, because 1 minus 3 is 1 plus 3, which is x to the 4th. And then we have our y squared. And then in the bracket, we have x to the 0 divided by y squared minus 3 over y squared x to the 4th. And what happens is, this x to the 4th, y to the 2nd, stays there for a second, while this is a 1. So it becomes essentially 1, so x to the 4th, y to the 2nd, and then in there it becomes 1 over y squared minus 3 over y squared x to the 4th. Now we can distribute this into both. Using the distributive property, it becomes x to the 4th y squared times 1 over y squared minus x to the fourth y squared times 3 over y squared x to the fourth. The y squared can cancel the y squared, and the y squared here can cancel the y squared. But the x to the fourth can also cancel the x to the fourth. The only thing left is x to the fourth minus 3. That's all that is left. And that's the answer to the problem that we're just trying to handle. You use all the laws that you can think of, and then it will bring you down to x to the fourth minus 3. Don't be afraid of all these letters all over the board. What you need to do is go step by step, apply what you know, one step at a time. Don't rush it. Just find one variable you're dealing with, deal with it to the end, and the problem will be easy. So that's how you do that.